Rania, I mean, Joe Stiglitz talked about Al Gore, and he waved the banner about climate change and the environmental catastrophe that was awaiting us years ago, 1990s. Why is it taking Greece so long to sort of wake up to this? You still have a couple of lignite mines? I mean, you know, it's extraordinary, really, isn't it? Sorry, I'm being provocative, but...
Actually, as I said before, the National Plan for Energy and Climate basically αφήνει σιγά σιγά το φυσικό αέριο, το natural gas, gradually abolishes, and lignite, I think next year or the year after, abolishes as well. So the new product mix is going to be 8% renewables, 20%.
But I mean, you had sun all the time. You had wind all the time. You had warnings from not just Al Gore, but plenty of other people, the IPCC. Why did it take so long?
It doesn't take so long.
And several different governments. So
it doesn't take so long, but it's very important to also consider the kind of pricing we have these days, both in terms of Greece, but also in the regional market and vis-a-vis the central market. So we witness different electricity prices during the day. So when we have, you know, photovoltaic, and again, I'm referring to the competitive energy cost for the industry, plus for the enterprises and for the consumers at the end of the day. So we do witness that we have very low prices because of the solar, right, during the day. But usually in the afternoon, from 6 to 9 o'clock, we have hikes in the region of even, you know, 1,000 euros per megawatt hour. What does this mean? First of all, that, you know, the European systems, with the European electricity systems, do not somehow coordinate, or there is not a regulatory mechanism that, you know, creates a level playing field for all the European countries. You have substantially different prices between the European countries, and substantially different prices between, you know, Central Europe and South Europe. And we've witnessed that really this summer, that, you know, South Europe had spikes, because South Europe had to sort of export electricity to Ukraine, whereas Central Europe did not have to do that. So one is, yes, photovoltaic, but, you know, even photovoltaic, in my personal view, is becoming more and more challenging, because they're more dependent on the merchant, they have a merchant risk, which is related to the wholesale market prices. So if you have very low market price during the day, how the banks, I'm not sure if there are any risk guarantees, how the banks will further, you know, finance further photovoltaics in the Greek market if we don't sort out the problem. That's one thing. The second thing is security of supply, because still you see that we have photovoltaics, right? But, you know, the lignite units may not operate, but somehow you may have them in cold reserve, or the power plants, or the gas power plants going forward, or even, you know, plants in the islands that, you know, through the connections, they should become obsolete. You will still have them in cold reserve just for the sake of that. So securing electricity of supply as well has a cost. Yeah. We move to renewables, but still, you know, having all the fossil fuels just on the corner, just about there's a major crisis somewhere, it has another cost for the consumer.
Okay, I believe you.
Yes. So Greece does have a very ambitious plan. Good. But still, how the regional markets work, and how you create a level playing field for everyone within the European single market, I think it remains a big issue.
Thank you. Chris, what exactly is Great British Energy?
So Great British Energy, the idea of this is a new organisation that is going to bring together some of the existing support that we give through government for low carbon energy, but also it's got £8 billion and more money, which it will use to leverage some private sector investment, support some R&D, also, which is importantly on the acceptability point, it's got some money it's going to be giving to local governments to help them with projects which get local support for low carbon solutions.
I mean, I'm asking you a provocative question, obviously, because all the press are saying, you know, it doesn't. It's just it's a slogan, blah blah blah. But I'm sure that, you know, as a diplomat, you're paid to actually answer these questions. Yes. Yeah. But so doing very well. But if you go back to government policy, you had a goal of 2030 under, I think, Boris Johnson, to try and get rid of internal combustion engine sales. That's been delayed. I mean, there is really a problem, it seems to me, for all democracies in trying to meet targets that are set by politicians who kind of know that they may not be there when the targets are due to be met. And so it's easy to overpromise, and therefore it's quite easy to underdeliver. Is that the problem that Britain is suffering now?
I want to go back in history a little bit of this. I looked after our renewable energy policy since 2007 to 10 in the UK. And I would say when I got the job, it was not a compliment to be doing renewable energy. Was seen as sort of the joke bit of energy, and grown-ups did oil and gas and coal. And then during that time, we made, then as members of the EU, agreed to the target for 2020 to have 20% of renewable energy from renewables. And we did do quite a lot of thinking in government, is this achievable, is this realistic, and so forth. And it was interesting, the fact when it was decided, we went to Prime Ministers at the time, Blair and then Brown, saying, are you really serious, you absolutely want us to go for this? And they said, yes. And from that moment, it absolutely transformed the way that we did renewable energy in the UK. I don't think we got completely to the targets that we were aiming for, but we were light years ahead of where we would have been had we not. So, I mean, I think there is a sort of pull factor, but it is important that they've got to be plausible, but stretching.
Okay. Final question, because really 15:38 now. For the EIB and the EBRD, the Draghi report, it points out how difficult the situation is at the moment, how far behind we are in terms of what's happening in America. Do you find the Draghi report is a damning indictment on what the EU has been able to do over the last few years, or do you think it's something which actually can give us hope?
Well, I think the Draghi report was a wake-up call. I mean, everybody knows that we have to do something to increase our competitiveness, and that's the case. And here I have to say that it's very important to understand that competitiveness, cohesion, and energy security are very much linked together. Yeah. So, and helping one will also benefit the others. So I think that Draghi report is a wake-up call. It points very precisely where Europe should focus, because, again, as a collective, I would say, collective instrument, European Commission, the Parliament, etc., they tend to defocus, so we have to focus again on certain things. And indeed, we are not, I believe, lagging back behind. And let me tell you just one example, which you mentioned about Greece. Yeah. And the lignite plants. There is a European plan to abolish the lignite energy. Greece was one of the countries that committed to close by far earlier its plants, and the plan is on track. Yeah. And for that purpose, there was also a pan-European delignitization envelope has been put in place, so that societies and economies that will have an issue when closing down the lignite plants to be benefited. So we are on track. We're also on track when it comes to technology. We are on track when it comes to national policies, the SEC, the national climate policies, that they are converging into Europe. We are okay. We just need to work, I think, and to row a bit more quicker and more with the tempo, so that to achieve the greater speed.
Thank you. Angeliki, you have the final word.
Great, thank you. And I totally agree with Ioannis. The Draghi report was a wake-up call, but it's also going to be a reference point for the future. And actually what it says is that we need to regain competitiveness at EU level, and the way to do it is by utilizing tools available like the RRF. We might need another RRF, and we all know that how well Greece is doing on that front. We have already we have already received 48% of what is allocated to Greece. And basically, this is all that I mean, we saw how RRF worked so well in the hands of the financial sector. And why? Because the government decided to redirect the funds through commercial banks or IFIs. So together with the Draghi report and what we have achieved in the past, and keeping in mind while RRF worked so well, we can move in the future and finance the very big ticket that green transition requires from all of us collectively working together.
Excellent. We have hope at last.
However,
Rania?
the Draghi report refers to 100 billion per year through, private and public finances, which is a huge amount, and requires another, different kind of political
If we were
concession.
Americans, we could simply
If we were
print
Americans, you
more
see
dollars.
that things would have been much easier. But 800 billion, for us
Yes.
to decide, I think it's going to be
I take
a
your
tricky
point, absolutely.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, remember, Draghi is the man who saved the euro.
It's true.
Which, good for his, I mean, it's a very good report, I think.
But public finance is equally important
Yeah,
apart from
it's pretty tricky, I
the
agree.
private ones. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. Excellent panel. Thank you very much, the audience.